Welcome to your favorite Tennessee Titans podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly.
Hulk.
Jacques,
Hulk.
what's up, folks? What is going down? What is happening? Good evening, good morning, whatever time it is your way. Welcome to the show. Shout out to everybody that's watching the show as well. Again, shout out to Bleacher Report as well for putting us on the show, man. We appreciate it as well. If you have not followed us, man, if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, man, hey, follow us there. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to us there as well. On Instagram, on TikTok, hey, we got a lot of content coming through. When the season comes through, man, you're going to see a lot of us when it comes to the Titans. So we're here. Jacques, what's good with you, brother?
And I can't call it, man. Half the work week is down, man. Happy to hear the talk Titans, and yeah, shout out to Bleacher Report and so forth and so forth. So, man, we here, dog. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get into this thing, man. So, right now, Hawk, we know Vegas is Vegas. The Titans didn't hit the over or under last year with Vegas. And now Vegas has our win totals at 5.5 wins for the Titans this year. Do you think we'll be over, under? Do you think we'll hit that on the spot? What's your thoughts, man? And why?
So when I look at the schedule, I broke it down. I had the Titans to have 6 wins this season. So I'm a little bit over 5.5. Not much, though. Not much. I'm literally saying min-max 5-6. And I'm saying 6 wins coming next year for the Titans, which will beat the over at 5.5. So some of the games I'm saying that we'll win, I think we'll beat the Patriots. I think we'll beat the Browns. I think we'll split with the Colts. We'll split with the Jags. I think we'll beat the Saints. And I think we'll beat the Cardinals. Those are the 6 wins that I have us winning next year. So I'm saying 6 wins for sure for the Titans. If we go 8 or more, man, I'm going to be like, that's unbelievable, to be honest with you. I still think we're not a good football team. We're building. But I'm going to say slightly over 5.5 wins for the Titans. What about you, Jacques? What do you think as far as our over-under 5.5 wins for the Tennessee Titans?
I'm with you. I think it'll be over. I think that with the Titans will surprise a lot of people. And maybe by seven wins. I even take it a step further from you. Yeah, we're a bad football team, man, but we're not atrocious, if that makes sense. And the way that things have been transpiring in the offseason, I got a little hope. And it's not a lot, but we'll definitely see the training camp pops off and everything. But I'm going over 5.5 wins. I'm going about 7 wins, specifically what I'm seeing with these teams. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Okay. All right. So we're both over 5.5 this coming up season. Okay, good. All right, cool. So as well, let's talk about the roster itself. So there was a report today that came out as far as the Tennessee Titans, and the NFL has ranked the Tennessee Titans last, 32 overall in the league as far as playmaker rankings. So I have a question about that as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Will this, when you look at the roster on offense, will this impact Cam Ward?
Are you saying not having enough playmakers?
Yes. Or do you think, give us your breakdown of the play, just in general?
No, I don't. Because Cam didn't have too many playmakers at Connor Ward at Washington State, nor did he have too many playmakers at Miami. Matter of fact, Cam Ward, shout out to that young brother. He's been training as we speak in Miami. And he actually gave Calvin Ridley a high praise that's one of the best receivers he's ever thrown to. Matter of fact, I think he said that is the best receiver he's thrown to.
Mm-hmm, right.
And so, no, it does. To me, it's not going to impact. That's like Tom. I'm not calling him Tom Brady. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not calling him Patrick Mahomes. But your good quarterbacks make your receivers good. That makes sense. Vice versa, somewhat. But no, I don't think that him not having enough talent is going to impact him. I think it's how you prepare. So I think he has enough talent that matter of fact, he's lucky to have this talent, because think about it, Mariota didn't have this talent. Will Levis didn't have this talent. Malik Willis didn't have it. Well, Will Levis had a little bit because he had D-Hop and he had Calvin for a year, right? But this is about the best. I would surround a young man with tight end talent, with receiver talent. Now, talent is debatable, right? Say Chig is this and that and the third. You can say Wiley, you can say all this, but I don't think it's going to impact him. I don't. And to have a receiver like Tyler Lockett there, who's a veteran, who's a good possession receiver, he'll be okay. What about you? You think it's going to impact him? Man, you think it's doom and gloom like the national media always tries to do?
So I say this, man, as far as the roster itself on offense, when you talk about playmakers, right? A guy that you can throw it to like an AJ Brown that we had in the past that could catch a hitch and go 60 yards, right? I think when we look at the playmakers, I think we have two playmakers. I think we have Calvin Ridley and we have Tajay Spears. I think those are our playmakers. When you look at our overall offense, I do think we lack playmakers. I don't think we have as many playmakers, you know what I'm saying, as I want it to be. And I think the big reason is because a a core of our team are going to be rookies. You know, when you look at Elik Ayamana, you got Shamir Dickey and those things. Even Restrepo might come through. You got Gunnar Helm. So you have guys that are unproven. So I get where people are not looking at, say, playmakers, but they'll look at, okay, besides, say, Calvin Ridley and Tajay Spears, who is our playmaker? So I say to say that Tajay Spears. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I say to say that in order for Cam Ward to really be successful in this offense, I think he's going to have to do a lot. I think he's going to have to scramble at times. He's going to have to improvise and do those things because I don't think he can just throw it to somebody at a 5-yard hitch and they go up the field like playmakers can do. You know what I'm saying? At least for this season. We don't know what these players are going to do quite yet because they're rookies. But, you know, we'll see maybe after the season we might figure out, okay, Elik is a playmaker or DK is a playmaker. I don't know yet. So if you take them out the way, in my opinion, again, I think Calvin Ridley's getting he's older, 10th year in the league. And then you got Tajay Spears, when healthy, is a playmaker. But I think that's all we got when you talk about playmakers. So I do think Cam Ward will have to play even better just in that regard to get the most that they can on the offense for me.
So you sound like you worried, Hawk. I'm not. For some reason,
you think we have play? Give us
okay. When I say playmakers, like I said, this is a debatable conversation because your version of a playmaker might be AJ Brown, right? You might be like, oh, AJ Brown is the best playmaker in the league. Woo, woo. I look at a playmakers from a different perspective. When I look at, I have to work with what I got, right? Specifically in my scheme. If I'm scheming, I'm like, okay, Calvin really can be my playmaker in certain specific packages. Chig can be my playmaker in specific packages. Like you said, we don't know what the rookies are going to be, so I'm not even really counting them per se. I know they can be good contributors. I know we talked about this on our last show where I'm not expecting them to start. Alec. I just mess that young man's name up all the time. But he has the best shot, right? But when I got Tyler Lockett, who's proven, he's won a Super Bowl. He's done some good things. If I want a rookie or a veteran receiver, give me Tyler Lockett. Calvin Ridley got 1,000 yards last year. I can't discredit him. Yeah, he's getting a little old in the tooth, but he's doing his thing as well. So, again, it's a debatable topic when it comes to playmakers, but I see what you're coming from. But I think he'll be okay. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, the execs are saying, you know, as far as them being in last place, right? As far as, and we won 3 football games last year. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Oh, I get it.
So, like, I say, so I'm looking at the roster, just looking at it as far as like guys that we can throw the ball to and they make things happen. Like, we have a few. I say we won't have any. But compared to, say, the league, as far as players, I don't think we have as many. Then again, and I think I'm not to say that it can't happen because we don't know what these young guys can do. We have a rookie, a very young football team. But I can't sit there and say we're going to throw it to such and such. Like, okay, you talk about Lockett, right? Lockett's old, right? He's an older guy. So I can't guarantee as soon as we throw him the ball, he's getting up the field. Or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
that's like the executives say the Jags were going to make the playoffs the past 2 years. I put stock in them executives, but I kind of don't at the same time because it's like gambling. It's like, okay, I can take your word for it. Let me see for myself. I think I'm in that type of room now. I'm like, all right, let's see what we got. Like, that's like even when we look at the division, that'd be a whole other show. Looking at the division when it comes to quote-unquote playmakers, that's debatable as well. So, all right, when they talk about D linemen, there's one particular Titan that to me hasn't gotten a lot of love shown to him in the past 6 years he's been in the league. But he's getting his love. So Jeffrey Simmons is listed as the fourth best defensive lineman in the league. Would you consider that to be a true statement, or do you think it's a false statement? Do you think they smoking a bag, or what you think?
I think when I look at Jeffrey Simmons, man, and I mentioned this when the season was over, I felt the two best players that was on our team last year was T'Vondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons. And I felt Jeffrey Simmons had a hell of a season, though 5 sacks might not show that. Jeffrey Simmons was getting triple team, not double team, triple team, because they didn't respect nobody else on our defense. So when I look at the guys that's in front of Jeffrey Simmons, I look at Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants. I look at Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs and Jalen Carter from the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, cool. I think that's legitimate. Cool. After that, it's Jeffrey Simmons, bro. I think where he's at, number 4, I think is a perfect fit for Jeffrey Simmons. I think Jeffrey Simmons is very underrated. I think Jeffrey Simmons is a beast. And I'm going to say this. I think Jeffrey Simmons, maybe outside of CJ Stroud, Jeffrey Simmons is the best player in the AFC South. And for those that's in the comment section, I'd like to say, like, hey, if you feel somebody's better than Jeffrey Simmons in the AFC South, but you look at Quentin Nelson, okay, cool. You got Will Anderson, Michael Pittman, think of some names. You got Brian Thomas from the Jags. You got DeForest Buckner, Joe Mixon. You got guys like that or whatever. Jonathan Taylor. Jeffrey Simmons is better than all of them at his position. You know what I mean? So I think where he's ranked at number 4, I think that's where he is. I actually think the number is perfect. I think Jeffrey Simmons is underrated. He's a beast. And if he played somewhere else, there was a playoff team, he could bump them to the edge to be a Super Bowl team. So I think where he's ranked is perfect. Number 4, Jeffrey Simmons. What about you? Do you feel Jeffrey Simmons should be at number 4, higher or lower? What do you think?
I agree. 4 is perfect for him. Like that's where he should be. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons has been a staple on this defense. And like you said, with T'Vondre Sweat being here, it elevates his game. Now, would I like him to see? Well, I like to see him get a little bit more sacks. Yes, but with his position, man, the D tackle position is made for you're a run stopper at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
Jarrell Casey was a astonishing case study because it's like, man, for you to be that small and in stature when it comes to height. And you look at him, and he doesn't look like a D tackle, but he was able to rack up that many sacks. Says something. So the shoes that he had to fill is astonishing, right? And he's bigger than Jarrell Casey. So I think in that case, it's like, okay, hey, you're in your correct spot when it comes to being ranked. And I think statistically, I think he almost said he has like 31.5 sacks throughout. I seen. Yeah, his stats are nice, man. Like when you go back and look at his stats from when he's racked up from the past 6 years,
right?
It's on track. I'm like, okay, yeah, Jeffrey Simmons, you're quietly doing what you're supposed to do, right? And I think you're looking for that next step. But I'm okay with what he's been doing. Like I know some people, some media have to complain about him and whatnot. I don't see nothing wrong with Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons has been doing his thing ever since he's gotten with the Titans, and I think that's the problem when you're ranking them and you put these ranks on players. Again, he's a staple point on that defensive line, along with T. Sweat. And again, those two, I feel like this year are going to feed off of each other in a way to where it's like, hey, okay, you got to pick your poison. Which one you want to guard? You want to guard him or you want to guard him? So, right. It's the right position. He's at 4th for a reason. Hopefully he elevates that game a little bit more this year. But I'm okay what he's been doing. In my opinion, I've been okay with Jeffrey Simmons. I really don't see an issue of his game as some other people have said.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool. Okay, all right, cool. All right, so Jeffrey Simmons, just know you're respected here on our show and have been since day one. We know what Jeff is about, bro. He's a baller, bro. He really is, man. So when I saw that, I was like, damn, number 4, and you get to looking like, yeah, that's about right. So. All right, so looking at last year's group, just like different groups, quarterback groups, O-line, whatever group you can think of from last year and how the team performed. What group do you think will be the most improved in 2025, based on what you've seen and heard so far this in the preseason?
There's one group I want to go to, but to me, I think the most improved group that you're going to see in 2025 is going to be the receiver group. Right. This is the deepest group on this team with a lot of talent, right? You have a good mix of veteran presence mid veterans, and when I call a mid veteran, you're like a 5, 6 year player. You've got a player that's been here 10 years. I think you got two of them with Tyler Lockett. So good presence, and then you have your rookies who are. I feel like this is the most mature receiver group that we've really ever had, right? From a maturity standpoint. And when I mean maturity, I mean like I look at Restrepo. Restrepo is putting in the work. Alec Aminer is putting in the work. DK is putting in the work. They don't have to be doing this, right? As a rookie, man, you're just trying to find your foot and you're trying to find where you're going to go. Da, 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 da. And my apologies for butchering your name, my brother. But when I'm seeing that group, I feel like that group is going to be, they're going to elevate Cam and Cam's going to elevate them, right? It's already happening in training camp, in mini camp, in rookie mini camp. It's already happening. So when you're seeing this group, when I hear rookies catching touchdowns, when I hear Calvin going off, when I hear Restrepo going off, you need that specifically in a pass-happy league like we're in now, with a receiving-driven league that we're in now. You're going to need that. So for me, it's the receiver group. I feel like the receiver group is going to elevate, and they're doing a good job now, and getting that continuity with your quarterback. Again, that's the most important thing, right? You can have the skill set all day, but if you don't have continuity and timing with your quarterback, man,
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, facts, no paper, Jacques. I think the group that I see the most improved from last year so far to this year. Again, I know everything hadn't started yet, but just from a roster volume standpoint, is the offensive line. Last year the O-line bottom 5 in the league in PFF rankings. We do know the struggles that they've had over the last 3 seasons. The offensive line struggled, and trying to figure out who's who. I mean, you had players like Nicholas Petit-Ferrer out there starting. He can't even make a roster on any team right now. And you had J.C. Latham playing out of space and those things. So, and we've had an interchangeable roster within our line. But I do feel going into 2025, we got a solid 5. When you look at Dan Moore on the left tackle, you look at Peter Skoronski at left guard, you got Lloyd Cushenberry at center, you got Kevin Zeitler at right guard, and you have J.C. Latham at right tackle, his natural position. So those 5, I feel, about as good as it has been over the last 3 seasons, because going into the season, I had no idea what our offensive line was going to do. And I still don't, because it's a new unit. But you got Skoronski now, who's been there for 3 seasons. You got Latham playing right tackle where he's supposed to. Lloyd Cushenberry, he's coming off an Achilles injury. Hopefully he's better there. Dan Moore, is a left tackle. They signed a big contract, but at least he's a guy that's consistent. And Zeitler, he's been an incredible guard in the NFL for the last 15 seasons. So I feel we have a strong 5, and I still feel if Peter Skoronski and Zeitler can make it happen, one of them might make the Pro Bowl. I'm saying even Peter Skoronski. He has the ability. He's a first-round pick, and he's playing guard. He has the ability. So, I think the offensive line to me is going to show up the most versus last year for sure for the Tennessee Titans. That's only going to help us on offense, running the ball, getting protection for Cam Ward so he can do his thing as well. So I'm going to say the offensive line for sure. So, well, cool. Well, right now, it's our favorite part of the show, the live chop up. Right at the moment, no questions at the time. But what I want to do is we're going to start pulling up Twitter mentions. And we're not saying mentions to us, just in Titan land, period. Just bringing up some Twitter comments. We're going to talk about that. So we got a Twitter comment here. And I hate to have the screen on there, but it says by Ricky Dawson, he says that we're going to win the division. And we have Joshua saying that the Titans are going to win the division and have a shot at the Super Bowl or make the AFC Championship game. So, Jacques, let's talk about this, bro. What's your initial thoughts looking at these tweets, man?
First of all, shout out to Ricky Dawson, man, and shout out to Joshua, man. Hey, you're watching the show, man. Great tweets. Yep. So I get the hype. I understand the excitement behind everything. Is that going to happen? No. Okay. You're setting the expectations up for like a Jaden Daniel-ish type of season. And we still, even with Jaden Daniels, you don't know what he's going to do this year, right? He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's real good. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, that's big expectations. Now, if that happens, man, you are the Oracle from the Matrix. You two are Mr. Cleo. I mean, y'all have done some type of root work. I don't know, but I don't foresee that happening. Do I see the Titans surprising people this season? I do, because there's no expectations on the Titans to win 5 games, right? So when you don't have any expectations on you, you tend to sneak up on people a little bit better than what you were, right? Remember what they said 2 or 3 years ago, even last year. The Jaguars are going to win the division, and I hope I harp on the Jaguars all the time because I just don't think they're a good football team. Okay, but everybody and their mama thinks they're the next thing, best thing since sliced bread. It ain't come true, right? The Texans shocked everybody and went to the playoffs, right? With rookies, like they did it with rookies. Okay, not saying it's far fetched because we've seen some crazy things in the land of football in today's 2025, 2024. We've seen some crazy things. But what they just tweeted, that is outlandish. That is crazy. And that's not going to happen, okay? If it happens, I'll be the most excited Titans fan ever.
Yeah.
But is that going to happen? No. If we get close to the division, okay, cool. But no, okay? I understand the excitement, but hell no.
Yeah.
What about you? You think that's going to happen, Hawk?
I'm gonna pull the comments again, like to your point. Shout out to Ricky and Joshua as well, too, man, for the comment as well. And I'm gonna pull up this picture as well, too. 5.5 wins, right? Last year we won 3 football games. Okay, to go from 3 wins to a Super Bowl would be the greatest turnaround in NFL history. It ain't happening. It's not happening. Our team is too young. We have a rookie quarterback. We have a damn near rookie coach. It ain't happening. It takes time. It don't just happen all of a sudden to win a Super Bowl. So it takes time. It takes roster building. It takes adding a few free agents. It takes having better drafts. See, the problem that we haven't had good drafts at all, unless we had a good draft last year. This year, we'll figure out how, when the season goes on, how it happens. Prior to that, the drafts were bad. They were terrible. And even when it happened, I said it at that point, these drafts are not good when they happen. I said, it's not a good draft. I said it 2 years in a row, and it was true, right? So it takes time to get to a Super Bowl. So I think it's outlandish to your point. No way. No. We're not winning no damn Super Bowl. We'd win the division before we won the Super Bowl. I still don't think we're winning the division, man. We got to build, man. We were the worst team in the league last year. I keep saying that. We got it's going to take time. It's going to take time.
But you know what I mean? So, say it's the worst. Is it the worst team the worst number 1 team I've ever seen? Hell no. The Titans was not the worst. They did last year. Yes, they were. But I've seen worse, Hawk. I've seen when the Colts went 0 and whatever they were trash.
Of course,
even when we picked, I think number 1, that was the most horrible team that I've ever seen. That we didn't have a staple building block of players. I will say this, that even though we talked about it last year about our defense, well, okay, that's number 1. That's kind of a farce or whatnot. I still would give our defense credit because they kept us in games. If we were the worst number 1 team ever, right, ever, quote unquote, ever, then I would be like, okay. But that's why I'm saying at least over 6 to 7, maybe even 8 wins, because you already you count this down. I'll think about this. If you were the worst team last year, one worse, you wouldn't have had 1,000 yards.
And not the worst ever. I don't think anyone's ever said the worst ever.
I know, but I'm just saying. You wouldn't have had 1,000-yard running back. You wouldn't have had 1,000-yard receiver with a quarterback like Will Levis. You like, how the hell did Calvin really get 1,000 yards? Like, that was not supposed to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Prior to that, you had D Hop who got 1,000 yards. You're like, okay, we haven't had prior to that, Hawk, we didn't have 1,000-yard receiver besides AJ Brown, right? Now all of a sudden we got 2 back-to-back. You're like, okay, hold on. That ain't building blocks, right? Then I look at the defense last year. I'm like, okay, but minus LeJarrette Sneed, we should have been getting blown out. We should have been getting blown out the water. But it goes down to offensive line play. Offensive line was horrible. And then our quarterback play, like, was just atrocious. Like, it was atrocious to the point where it was sickening. It would make you throw up like, oh, my God. And then I also think, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'll say it. It could have been somewhere, I give up. Hey, we got Cam Ward or Shador Sanders coming out next year. Man, cut all that. We ain't doing that. And I think you even mentioned it. You was like, tank, right?
Yeah, because I knew it wasn't good. I was,
But at the same time, when I look at the division, when I look at the division, and this can be, like I said, a whole other discussion. When I'm looking at the division, I see a division that's okay, but it's the Texans to lose. But for some reason, Hawk, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't trust the Texans. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. But something in me is telling me I don't trust them. Like the Jaguars, when everybody kept saying the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence was gonna win the division, he going to the
And they said that, and people said it because the Jags did go to the playoffs the year before.
They did, but they trash. Not even when they was in the playoffs, they ain't supposed to be in the playoffs. Trash. I look at the Colts. I'm like, you got Daniel Jones. Do I trust Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
Hell no. So that's just me when I'm looking. I'm not saying the Titans are going to win the division, but I'm saying, okay, if you play your cards right, I'm not counting you out. I'm not going to count them out. I'm not going to do that, right? I'm going to stick and say, hey, yeah, 6-7 wins, but I'm never going to count you out because, again, we live in a day and age where I think you can move things faster than you could back in the day, right? We seen what the Redskins. We seen what the Commanders did, right? And that all is indicative of Daniel Jones, right? So when I look at that, Super Bowl, hell no. Win the division, hell no. Do you have a shot? You always have a shot. It's the NFL. It's any given Sunday, right? Anybody can win on any given Sunday. That's how I look at it. Any given Sunday, you can win. I can win. It just is what it is. So I just, and by the way, it's Callahan's second year. I know you called him a rookie.
No, I'm saying he's damn near a rookie coach.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
he's only. I know, of course, he's his second year. I'm saying I was just saying he hasn't been around a long time. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
What I'm saying is I'm not knocking the team down. I'm
No,
just saying
I know you're
like
I know
where
you're
the team
not.
is right. Yeah, but just saying where the team is right now. I just think it's going to take some time to get better over a particular time because you're right. Our quarterback play was terrible. Probably cost us 3 games last year. The quarterback alone, right? The offensive line, and especially early, even somewhat in the mid part, they got better towards the end. I think, what I'm saying, like it's just gonna take time. You know what I mean? But I think again, we're better than we were last year. At least that's what I think. Until the season starts, we see in the preseason and things. So we hadn't seen anything yet. You know what I'm saying? And so for those that's watching this as well, Jacques and I are going to go to some of the practices. So we'll get a chance to really like look at everything as much as we can, before the preseason actually kicks off. But I think our roster is better than where we were last year. I mean, I think just right offhand, we're better at quarterback, and I think we're better on the offensive line. You know what I mean? And I think you got second-year players like T'Vondre Sweat, Jarvis Brownlee. You got second-year players that's going to, do better. And I think Skoronski is going to do better. So, I do it like even 5.5 wins is more than what we were last year. And last year we were predicted, I think, to have 6 wins. We were way over that last year. I think like we was like thinking it was gonna make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So
we didn't hit that at all.
So you know what I'm saying? So so you know what I'm saying? So I have to be realistic. I'm not, I it's like, hey, I gotta look at where we at right now as of today. You know what I'm saying? Things could always change for sure.
That's why I like looking at the preseason. Because I'm not saying the preseason dictates the season.
Right.
But when I'm looking at the preseason, I look at something, I'm like, okay, it'll bleed over into this, right? It can bleed over into this. You got sloppy play here, sloppy play there. I'm like, hey, but like you said, 5 wins, that'll be a success. 6 over that will be even more success.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. We on track. And I think they know that. Like they have a trajectory. Okay, we on track doing this, we on track doing this. So I think they'll still be competitive. I will say that. I do think the Titans will still be competitive enough to win them games because I know like some of them games they didn't look like they want to be out there, right?
Right.
Getting smacked around. So I think once you get that energy, I think the energy is changing and it's shifting in the building. The way, because your quarterback, the way things are coming, we haven't had that type of energy on offense.
Yeah.
I would even say, man, I think the last person that's been vocal like that, maybe Vince Young, maybe VY. I think he had, and I'm not saying from a play perspective, but from an energy perspective, from a vocal perspective.
Yeah.
Cam has leadership. I ain't gonna never take that away from him. That joke was a leader
for sure
amongst men. So
yeah. And then, speaking of too as well, I know we talked earlier about Jeffrey Simmons. So, there's reports as well as far as why he was ranked so high. That a lot of some NFL executives have said that, he's still very dominant versus the run. I didn't see the same pass rush explosion. Morale can get low, and it's hard to rush when you're always playing from behind. That's true. Still one of the most complete players. So I do agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I think towards
Shout
at
out,
some point, yes. Shout out to Charm Sports.
Yep.
Yep. Shout out to Charm Sports. Yep. So I do think there's some truth to that because the run defense has always been good here with Tennessee, especially with Jeffrey Simmons in the middle. He's even said you're not running on us. So in his entire career, there's been maybe 5 or 6 teams that have run very well on us, but overall we have always done well against the run. And I just think people want to see those sack numbers for him to go up, given he only had 5 last year. But even with that, again, he's triple teamed a lot, and he causes a lot of problems. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping for him to get that breakout sack season for himself because Jeffrey Simmons, low key, is a hell of a ball player, and he's clearly our best player. And you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll be okay. And I think Jeff, again, he knows what we have on offense now. And again, no disrespect to the last regime, but it's a new day, man. New day, new energy, new hype. So
yeah, for sure. So, well, cool. Well, listen, we want to say thank you all for watching the show, man, as always. Or if you're listening to us as well, man, however you're listening to the podcast, man, we appreciate it. Again, we appreciate Bleacher Report as well for having us on this platform. If you have not followed us on Bleacher Report, shame on you. Follow me at Lorenzo_the Hawk. You can follow my boy as well at Jacques Merrill. Follow us here on Bleacher Report. Download the Tennessee Titans as well, too, for content. You can follow us on YouTube at Tennessee Titans Weekly. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on TikTok as well, man. We got a lot of TikTok videos on Instagram as well, man. Check us out, man. We got content out there for sure.
Yeah, when y'all do follow those entities, man, please cut your notification bells on to let you know when we post any new content or go live. And like Hawk said, we will be at the training camp. I think we got 2 passes to 2 of the training camps at Baptist Sports. I don't know. I don't think, do they still call it that? I don't know if it's
St. Thomas.
Okay, St. Thomas.
I think St. Thomas. I think.
Okay.
But keep going. You good.
We going old school, man. I remember it was Baptist. It was Baptist.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah.
Baptist Sports. We'll be there to kind of get a eagle eye view on everything. And then they have an open practice. So if you're in Nashville, they do have an open practice, a couple of at Nissan Stadium. So if you haven't got any tickets, man, go get them. But anyway, man, like I say all the time, man, Bleacher Report, we appreciate y'all. Titans Weekly family, we appreciate y'all for watching the show and supporting us. But other than that, Hulk, man, take us home, bro.
Okay, cool, man. Well, listen, we hope you all have a great rest of your day. And folks, as we always say and as we always do, facts,
no paper.